Hi, this is Shola, and in this quick video, I'm going to walk through the different market segments related to the various business models. So, how is this going to help you? Well, whether you are just starting out with your online business, or even if you are an advanced or intermediate business owner who is looking to create more of a uniqueness factor in your business. Translation, you want to stand out more. One of the most helpful things that you can do is to break out the entire market based upon whom you're serving. So let me just paint a picture for you here. The global economy is approaching $100 trillion. Okay, so if you were to imagine a huge pie of goods and services being sold around the world, 190 plus countries, and you divvied it up, that pie would be equal to almost $100 trillion. Well, the thing is that you can't just bite the entire pie. You have to cut it up. And so, if you are an online business owner, one of the things that you have to ask yourself is number one, who am I going to serve? So, what I've done is break out the different market sectors based upon two main factors. First, whether or not it's an offline business or it's an online business. And so, what I'm going to do right here, this says four, but it's actually three, is I'm just going to walk you through a scenario. So, let's just say that you've decided that you are going to sell a product. And you're thinking through two scenarios. Scenario one is you're thinking about having your business being totally focused on the online space. So, how would you break that up? Well, the first thing to understand is that you have basically three main segments in the online space. You have people who sell digital products, okay? And you have people who sell digital services, and you have people who sell physical products online, right? So the digital space is actually a little bit smaller than the physical product space. How can we draw that conclusion? Well, the online retail space is about a 20, last time I checked, according to internet retailer, it is a $20.1 trillion. Okay, that's trillion with a T. The retail space is a over $20 trillion market. That's a huge pie. Well, of that 20 trillion, only about 1.1 is even spent online. All right, so this space, over $1 trillion a year, is being spent to buy physical products that, in other words, people buy products online that are physical and they're shipped to them. Okay. Now, typically, when we think about online businesses, a lot of time we think about people selling software, or we think of people who are authors, translation, selling ebooks, e-courses, or artists, people selling or producing video or audio content or blogs, right? Or we might think of online service providers, like maybe you do tech support online, or you do web design and creative services, or even you might manage, let's say, a paid community, like a paid forum. That doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's actually a very lucrative business model. So from now on, when you're thinking about different online business models, I want you to break it down into three main categories. Are you going to be a digital product creator? All right. Uh, are you going to be products? When we say digital product, we mean digital content, okay? Downloadable content. It can be nonfiction, such as educational or business related content, or it could be entertainment, which typically tends to be either fiction, like fiction novels, or movies, all right? Or music, okay? Or you can be a digital service provider. So you provide a creative or tech or professional services related skill over the internet. All right. Or you can look at the quickly growing, okay, business sphere of people selling physical products over the internet. And this is actually growing at about 20% a year. So it's actually going to double. So in about 4 years, people aren't going to be buying and selling $1.1 trillion in physical goods. Actually, it's going to be closer to $2.2 trillion. So in reality, this space far eclipses what's being sold in digital products. Okay. And in the past couple of years, there's been a lot of attention paid to this. But if you think about it, a very small percentage of people who are selling selling offline in traditional stores actually have a online presence, and they're actually selling, right? Many people might have a store, but they're not doing a lot of sales on their online store. So you might have an offline store and then you have a website, but those websites are more like brochures as opposed to a sales channel that is equal, or in some cases eclipse the offline channel. All right, so that's on the online space. So to wrap that up, from now on, when you're thinking about whom you're going to serve, if you're going to have an online business, you got to think about whether or not you're going to be, and this is if you decide you want to do B2B or business to business. Are you going to be serving the needs of digital content providers? Are you going to be serving the need of digital service providers? Are you going to be selling the needs of e-commerce store owners, right? So let's move over here to the offline world. Well, we basically have 4 categories here. You have your retail products, all right? So that's traditional brick and mortar. So you have everything from the Walmarts and the Targets of the world to the small mom and pop shops, all right? Then you have retail services. So you might need a plumber, or your lawn cut, you need to find a nanny. Those are called retail services, right? So you typically have businesses selling to consumers, right? Then you have professional services. In this space, you have both B2B, all right, as well as B2C. So you have a business, let's say a law firm that might be providing professional services to a large corporation, or you have B2C. You might have that same law firm, but it serves the needs of individuals. So it might be divorce, it might be traffic court, that sort of thing. Next thing is your professional products. So you have B2B here, right? And this is typically businesses selling high price products to other businesses. So you might sell large scale office equipment. All right, or you might sell vending machines, anything that isn't one business selling to the other, right? So again, when you're thinking about whom you're going to serve, let's just say, for example, you decide that you're really good at this online customer generation / online advertising / online marketing game, and you want to help people get more customers. Well, you basically have 7 options. You can help the digital content or digital product providers get more customers. You can help digital service providers get more customers. You can help e-commerce store owners get more customers. You can help offline brick and mortar product businesses get more customers. You can help offline retail services get more businesses. You can help B2B service providers. So you can decide whether or not you're exclusively going to help get more business clients for professional services firms, or more private citizen clients for professional services firms, right? Or you can help, which is a little known space here, businesses sell high ticket physical products to other businesses, right? And this is generally what we might call, let's say, plant equipment, etc. All right. So there you have it. So now when you're thinking about whom you're going to target, recognize that each one of these markets has a different market size. Let me leave you with something that Richard Koch, who is the author of the 80-20 principle, as well as 20 other books, says quite powerfully in the book The Star Principle. Most people, when they're thinking about what that defining factor is that's going to lead to success, think about, okay, wow, I need to have a big brand, or wow, I need to have a killer product, or wow, I need to have a charismatic CEO. And they spend very little attention thinking about what market they're going to be in and whom they're going to serve. You see, the size of the pie, along with who is buying the pie, who is eating the pie, so to speak, is going to have more of a factor in your success or failure than anything. All right. Let me say that again. how big the pie is that you're going after, all right, and the needs and wants of that particular target audience. In other words, let me just write this down so you'll have it forever clear. The success factors, all right, and we often call these fail points. In other words, or we call them POF, points of failure. Translation: the few things that have to get right or the whole system goes wrong, right? So in a car, that would be something like gas, right? You can have the best performing car, but if you don't have any gas, that's a fail point. So the major fail points that very few people talk about are: number one, the market, and particularly the size and the growth rate, as well as the target market, and some people call target audience. All right, these two factors have arguably the most leveraged effect on the success of your business. So in other words, you could be selling the same thing, right? The widget, but who you decide to sell that widget to and the size of that market is going to impact your success far more than anything else. To use a really great analogy, if you were the only person selling pretty tasty bottled water in the Sahara Desert, you would not have to be the best business person to be successful, right? And what happens is that people tend to sell bottled water near, let's say, 4 or 5 natural springs, right? In translation, people tend to go to markets that are too small, where there's a lot of competition, and they don't have anything that distinguishes them, and then they wonder why business feels so hard. All right, so this is Shola. Take this and run with it. Look at the action step is to take out a sheet of paper or do it in Google Docs. And what you want to do is just go right now and go to google.com/calendar. Set up a date with yourself and invest at least 15 to 30 minutes into answering some of these questions. Number one, what is the size and the growth rate of the market that I'm in or that I want to get into, right? Compared to where I am now. You might find that your market is too small and it's too crowded, and so that's why you have to work so hard. Next question you want to ask is, who is my target audience? Think of your target audience as being different squares, right? So the first square is just, what are you selling, right? And then the next, or rather, circle. Then you want to go down to sort of like those Russian dolls. All right, you want to go down several layers. So what are you selling? Okay, then we can break it down to, is it going to be offline or online? All right, and then you can break it down, is it going to be male or female? All right, and then you can break it down by geography, right? You need to have at least 4 or 5 adjectives to describe your target audience, all right? Because typically, when you have a really big target audience, you'll find that there's just too much competition, and your prospects, those people most likely to buy, can't really distinguish you from anybody else. And when that happens, people tend to default to the big names in the space, right? So go ahead to google.com/calendar. I use the free tool, set up a reminder with yourself, and that way you won't forget. When you sit down, if you don't feel like doing it now, just answer the questions that I just posed to you. And what you'll find is that you may get further faster by being that one person who sells water in the desert than somebody that's competing for a pot that's too small among too many competitors.